What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. I hope you are all doing very, very well. I want to talk about Holy Paladin and the changes that have come through in 10.1.5. Okay, this is going to be a video just talking about my experiences so far on my very low geared Paladin. I literally just crafted a weapon yet last night just because I had a 386 weapon in my inventory. This is a really low geared character. It was in season 1 I tried it a lot and I haven't tried it since. So whole bunch of new talents for Holy Paladin. Gonna talk about that in a second. 3 things I want to cover in this video, okay? Number 1, the ranged versus melee styles of Paladin. Where are they now and how are they meshing together? Very important. Holy Shock and Glimmer is number 2. We're gonna talk a little about that. And then I want to, for my number 3 thing I want to talk about is like how good it feels to press any button on the Holy Paladin bar right now. Whereas it used to be like really frustrating to press some buttons because all they did was like build holy power. Every single button you press now for Holy Paladin feels impactful, feels good, and accomplishes multiple things all at the same time. So let's just dive right into it. I do have some video footage I'll show you in a second. Let's talk very first about the ranged versus melee style and how they synergize together. There were some big cooldowns that we had even in the previous patch. Things like Barrier of Faith, Tears Deliverance, Power of the Silver Hand. All very, very powerful abilities or passives that didn't synergize with the entire kit. They were basically only scaled off of your Holy Light or Flash of Light heals. In particular, Barrier of Faith was like a shield, and then it would accumulate. It accumulates more shields if you press Holy Light or Flash of Light on an ally. Tears Deliverance was cool, and you could extend Tears Deliverance if you press Flash of Light and Holy Light. Now, there is synergy with Holy Shock for both of these abilities. So, they are no longer just like a ranged sort of healing style. They have been incorporated together, and they work with Holy Shock now. So you can run... There isn't really a melee range build anymore. I was about to say, you can run like a melee style build where you focus on like Judgment, Crusader Strike, and you have like, you know, Crusader's Might, and you're doing lots of Holy Shock. You can do that, but you can also incorporate now Barrier of Faith or Tears Deliverance into those builds, and they mesh really well together. Here's what I'm talking about. For Barrier of Faith, Absorb Shield for 50k. For the next 24 seconds, Barrier of Faith accumulates 50% of your effective healing on Flash of Light, Holy Light, or Holy Shock. Which means you could like press Divine Toll after you press Barrier of Faith, and it will accumulate 50% of all 5 of the Holy Shocks you just sent out. Insane value if you want to do that. Tears Deliverance is the big one though. Holy Shock will extend Tears Deliverance by 2 seconds. Up to a total of 40 seconds. I don't know if I have... I should have it here. No, my details reset. That's a bummer. I'll show you that. I'll show you that later. But I have been running Tears Deliverance in all of my keys, and it's just been crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. This thing is insane. It's doing 10% of my healing in an overall dungeon. But the point is now that it works with Holy Shock, and it didn't work before. Barrier of Faith works with Holy Shock. Now, it didn't before. Power of the Silver Ham now buffs your Holy Shock based on your Judgment as well if you want to. Not just your Holy Light or Flash of Light. It's Holy Light, Flash of Light, and Judgment have a chance to grant you Power of the Silver Hand. So that now works with a more sort of melee-centric Judgment will proc it instead of the other abilities, which is really, really cool. They've just incorporated sort of the range style and the melee style together in a really beautiful way. Here's a new cooldown we have, Hand of Divinity. This thing is amazing. Call upon the light to empower your next 2 holy lights to heal for 80% more, cost 50% less mana, and be instant cast. The instant cast part is really, really important. You can pop Tears Deliverance, and then pop Hand of Divinity, and your next 2 holy lights are instant cast. What are your next 2 holy lights going to do? They're going to extend Tears Deliverance on everybody by 8 seconds each. So you go Tears Deliverance, Holy Light, and that's 16 seconds on your already 20-second cooldown, right? 12 seconds, whatever it is. You can basically already get 16 extra seconds on your cooldown, so it ends up being 36 seconds, so it's just going forever. It just goes forever. So it's really cool. Like, I'm incorporating Holy Light into a lot of my healing now because I have Resplendent Light and I have this new cooldown. And I'm just pairing it up with Tears Deliverance. So even though my main gameplay is a lot of Holy Shocking and Judgment and Crusader Strike still, and I'm getting, you know, reset, I'm getting my Awakening procs going, like, it's all there. I'm also incorporating this range style of Holy Light, bombing people for huge amounts of health, and then extending my Tears Deliverance cooldown. So it's all kind of working together now, and that's what's really, really cool. It used to be that the style was like Judgment. The melee style was like Judgment, Crusader Strike, Holy Shock, and Glimmer. That was kind of like your core of the melee style, the aggressive style. The range style was like Holy Light, Flash of Light, the Inflorescence buff down here, right? Now, you can work them all together. Inflorescence even works well with Judgment. You can take Inflorescence of the Sunwell, and there's some builds that are doing this right now. Here's what it does. Infusion of Light gets 1 additional charge, increases Greater Judgment's effect by 50%. Okay? Or does the Flash of Light or Holy Light stuff. That's fine. What is the Greater Judgment effect? This is it over here. Judgment deems the target unworthy, preventing the next 20,000 damage dealt to them. So when I throw Judgment, it does damage, and it prevents damage from being done. If I take this Inflorescence buff, when I get the Infusion proc, I can consume the Infusion proc with a Judgment. And that will make my Greater Judgment buff 50% stronger. So instead of 20k damage prevented, it's 30k damage prevented. Okay? The ranged and melee styles aren't separate anymore. They are together. They work together. And they work really, really, really well. It's amazing. Holy Shock and Glimmer. Let's talk about these changes. Glimmer is now a central piece. It's in the top row, and it's much more powerful than it used to be. It used to be down here. It's not down here anymore. It's up here, and it's really, really strong. Okay? Your Holy Shocks, you can Glimmer up to 8 people. So baseline Glimmer is 3, and you take this talent, and it makes it 8. You can make it 1 if you want to. If you want to Giga Slam like a tank, if you want to Glimmer like 1 tank in a raid, you could do that. But in Mythic Plus, you're going to do this. You can Glimmer 8 people. 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay? There's a whole bunch of really, really cool synergies with Glimmer. Number 1 right here, spending any holy power has a chance to just trigger Glimmer, which is insane because it does so much damage and healing now. 14.6k damage, 17.7k healing. Really, really good, right? That's on top of the Holy Shock that you're actually just slapping somebody with. And on top of the Glimmer that you're doing, or the Beacon as well. All the Glimmer stuff goes into Beacon. It's really, really good. So there's Glimmer here. You have a chance to proc Glimmer there. Over here, your allies with Glimmer take 16% reduced damage, split evenly among them. Insane. In a Mythic Plus, that means that, like, if you have 5 Glimmers out, they're only getting, like, 3% or 2.5%, 3% or something, which is still good. 3% DR is insane. 50% of Glimmer of Light's overhealing converts into a shield, which is insane. Okay? And then down here, we have Glorious Dawn. This thing is really, really cool. Holy Shock has a 10% chance to refund a charge when cast. Increased by 1.5% for each Glimmer of Light you have active. So in a Mythic Plus environment, you have 3, 6, 7.5% additional chance. So you have a 17.5% chance for Holy Shock to refund itself once you get all your Glimmers out on your party. And it really does refund all the time. You also get 2 charges of Holy Shock, which is insane. Let's see if it'll refund. It didn't refund there. Also, it can refund from Divine Toll if you get lucky enough for that to happen. Really, really insane. Anyway, it's just really good now. You'll be running around, and in a group, you'll just be, like, pressing Holy Shock, and it'll just refund itself. And it'll refund itself again, and you can just keep throwing out Holy Shocks, and every time you throw out a Holy Shock, it throws out a Glimmer, which is, like, insane. So the value there is really, really good. The synergies with Holy Shock and Glimmer, they're a more central piece to your Holy Paladin experience now, and they are very, very powerful. And as I said before, Holy Shock now synergizes with Power of the Silver Hand. It synergizes with Tears Deliverance and Barrier of Faith. It synergizes with everything now. So it's really, really good. It's a great button to be pressing. It feels good to press Holy Shock. Okay? Every button press feels relevant and good. Let me just talk about this really quickly. This talent here makes Crusader Strike generate 1 additional Holy Power. This is insane. Holy Strike generating 2 additional two Holy Power total is completely bonkers. Let me just fly over here for a second. I'll get to the dummies. Every single button that you press feels like it accomplishes more than just one thing. Crusader Strike does damage and generates 2 holy power. Very valuable, okay? Holy Shock puts a glimmer on everything and does damage or healing, so it's versatile. It generates a holy power as well. It puts glimmer on an enemy or an ally. That glimmer can produce a shield. That glimmer will also give everybody a DR right there, okay? Holy Shock also gives you the inflorescence buff, the infusion buff, sorry. Your baseline infusion buff. Right here. That's from critically striking with Holy Shock, which now can also proc a greater judgment. When you throw, you can actually consume your infusion of light on judgment instead of consuming it on flash of light or holy light. Once again, there is synergy there with the range. You can do ranged or melee stuff. So there's value in Crusader Strike. There's value in Holy Shock. There's also value in my Hammer of Wrath now. If I want to go and take Veneration, Hammer of Wrath now heals up to 5 injured allies for 200% of the damage done. Every single time you press a button, it feels like you are just pressing a relevant button. It feels really, really good. Judgment over here heals those guys over there. I'll do my Light of Dawn. Crusader Strike generates 2 holy power. Get another thing over here. Let's pop wings. Okay, we'll do this. I'm going to throw a Hammer of Wrath, and it's going to heal everybody over here. So it has dual purpose there. Let's do my Tears Deliverance, and then do my big combo with Hand of Divinity. Here's my Holy Light. Holy Light does Giga Healing and extends my... Look at my Tears Deliverance. 31 seconds up there. Okay. There's another Hammer of Wrath. Because I'm in wings, I can press Hammer of Wrath, like, for free. And if I have 2 charges of it, it's really, really strong. Okay, I'm going to do this. I can consume my Holy Power Shield of the Righteous. It does a lot of extra damage now. There's another Hammer of Wrath. Okay, all these buttons that I'm pressing, they don't just do one thing. They're doing damage. They're also healing. They're also proccing my infusion. They're also getting my awakening stacks going. There are so many things that all of your buttons do, and it feels really, really, really good to press every single button on your in your kit. It just feels incredibly strong, and I love that. I really, really, really love that. I think there's something really important about that for a healer that wants to do damage and healing at the same time. Really, really important. You can see all the buffs that are rolling up here. Look at my damage. I did a bunch of damage from Consecration, Shield of the Righteous, Judgment, Hammer of Wrath. Okay, really, really good. Now, look at my healing. Beacon of Light, Holy Shock, Tears Deliverance, Glimmer, Word of Glory. My Merciful Auras are there. Arcing Light, Light of Dawn, Seal the Crusader. There are so many sources of healing. It didn't even count the... it didn't even count... Maybe it's on a different... Hold on. Yep, here it is. Let's find it right here. It's right here. There's Veneration. Here's... Okay, Veneration. That's from my Hammer of Wrath, right? There's Glimmer. There's my Aura. Resplendent Light is my Holy Light just splashing, right? And my Holy Light itself, those 2 casts of Holy Light that I had, did 325k healing. Just the 2 instant cast Holy Lights that I got from my big cooldown, Hand of Divinity. Okay, that's insane. And it all goes into your beacon. So every button you're pressing is good. Every button you're pressing does multiple things. It's proccing Awakening. It's generating Holy Power. It's doing this. It's doing that. It feels really, really good to play. And that's a really important thing. Really, really important. It just makes the healing feel really good, and it makes it feel like every button I'm pressing is important. Whereas before, I think Holy Paladin felt like, oh, I have to press Crusader Strike to build up Holy Power to get to my really big Holy Power spender. Then I feel like I'm doing something good, and it's just like really annoying. Now everything is helping you accomplish your goal of healing everybody. Here's a really tough fight. I did this in like 411 gear, like literally 411 item level. I'm from my 416 now or something, but this was really good. I mean, I popped Tears Deliverance at the start here with Hand of Divinity. Completely takes care of the Gash Tooth problem. I throw down my hammer. Here comes Tears Deliverance. Hand of Divinity right now. People are already taking damage. Big Holy Light instantly heals the Priest to full and extends Tears Deliverance. Second Hand of Deliverance. Boom, right there. Everybody's literally full healed. Holy Shock to end it all. And now my Tears Deliverance is starting to tick in the background of the fight. It's taking care of any rot damage in the fight. Those Earth Bolts going out. The Blade Storm ticking on people. Gash Tooth honing in on one person and hurting them. I have this Tears Deliverance ticking in the background while I can triage people. It's a really, really good combo. I absolutely love it. Here's a different, another key that I did with my brother was Hero on the on the monk. He's like 385 item level. He's really, really low item level here. So it's pretty funny. But we get into the key, and he just starts running, and I have to heal him up, and this is really, really insane. Where's my volume? Is it muted? I don't know what's going on. Okay, it doesn't matter. Watch this. Hero just runs off and pulls like half the dungeon here, even though he's like 385 item level, and we're doing a 16. He's way too low for this. Everybody starts dying, so I'm in panic mode right now. I get people up. There's Tears Deliverance going off right now. Okay. Then I full heal him. Then I get my Hand of Divinity. I think right about now, Hero almost dies to the bite. I'm doing 83k HPS. Hero's like very dead. Hand of Deliverance. Hand of Divinity comes through. I get a Holy Light on Hero. Okay. Then I Holy Light him again. And now we're okay. Now Tears Deliverance is going to start picking up all the extra rot damage that's coming through, any of the little melees that are going out, and I can focus on triage healing people, which is what I want to be doing. Big holy shocks, and I'm Crusader striking, Judgment. Whenever Hammer of Wrath comes up, I'm pressing it because Hammer of Wrath heals for a ton. Hero's dying again because he's really low item level. I'm just sacking him on cooldown, basically. He runs off to the next pack. He doesn't even know this dungeon. Literally, he doesn't even know it, and he's about to get wrecked, but he gets about to get chomped. He doesn't even know what chomp is. It's great. It doesn't matter because Holy Paladin is here to save the day. If you guys are wondering about the 10.1.5 Holy Paladin changes, they are absolutely massive, and they really help to solve a whole bunch of problems that I think was plaguing Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin was like the top healer in this season right now before this patch even went live. I'm not trying to say Holy Paladin was bad before this patch. What I want to say is that Holy Paladin felt to me really inaccessible for the entire player base because some of the way that you sort of did your healing and your damage was a little bit nuanced, a little bit weird. It didn't synergize well together. People were always wondering about melee versus ranged. They've really meshed that all together now. There is no melee versus ranged anymore. You have things like Hand of Divinity, making your big holy lights instant cast, cost less mana, and do a whole bunch of extra healing. They synergize with Tears Deliverance. Tears Deliverance was a sort of ranged ability. It can now be used with a pure melee build. Judgment and Holy Shocks. Hero does end up dying here, unfortunately. Hero Holy Shocks buffing the extra time of Tears Deliverance, which is really good. I love that synergy. It's a huge cooldown that you can put together. Again, ranged and melee coming together. The Inflorescence buff can buff your Judgment and make your Greater Judgment do a bunch of extra healing for you. Prevent a bunch of extra damage, so that which is essentially healing. It's really, really good, and I love that it's been all kind of meshed together. I think they've done a really, really good job, the devs. Holy Shock and Glimmer are an absolute central piece of your entire build. You cannot, play without them. They're very, very important, and Glimmer is huge now in terms of what it does. The actual healing and damage that it produces is really big. Divine Toll is a really big cooldown now. Not that it wasn't before, but it's even more important now. And every single button that you press on Holy Paladin feels relevant and good. It feels like when I press a Holy Shock, not only does it generate holy power, not only does it heal the person, but it also produces a Glimmer, and the healing from the Holy Shock and the Glimmer both go into my beacons. It's just working really, really well together. My Judgment is generating holy power. Oops, sorry, I just died there. My Hammer of Wrath is generating holy power and healing everybody now if I take that talent. I have Merciful Auras going on in the background, which I really liked. Again, to help with some of the rot damage, just like Tears Deliverance. That helps with a lot of ticking damage, and then you can just triage your way through everybody's health bars, unless they die like that to one-shots. It's really good. It's in a really good place. Holy Paladin was probably the best healer in this current tier before these changes came through. I think these changes make it more accessible to a larger group of people who want to play Holy Paladin, and it just makes it even stronger than it was before. So if you haven't tried Holy Paladin out, you should absolutely jump in and try it. I'm healing this plus 16 right now at 411 item level with a really crappy weapon, and it doesn't even matter. It's not even a problem. Like, this is easy to do. So I would encourage you guys, jump in there and get on the Holy Paladin train. It is really strong right now. There are potentially going to be some nerfs, I would think, because this thing is probably way too strong. It's the only S healer right now on a lot of the websites. It's head and shoulders above everybody else. So Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you been trying out Holy Paladin? I've been really enjoying it. I think it's amazing. Have you guys been enjoying it? Do you like it? Do you think it's going to get nerfed really hard? I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Let me know. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I love you all. I will see you in the next one.